What's up, everybody? Sean McQueen. I figured it would be a great opportunity to provide an update post major shoulder surgery. I get messages or comments on some of the videos that I posted along the journey all the time, which I love and I welcome. And I figured it has been a bit since I've provided an update. So where we left off, I was at week 12, which is about 3 months post shoulder surgery. I had arthrosurface. Quick kind of recap on that is right shoulder was cut open right here. Inside the rotator cuff was the subscap was cut. Went in, shaved down the bone spurs, cut off the goat's beard, which was growing off the humeral bone, and put in a chrome hemicap on the shoulder bone, and on the inside a plastic inlay so it can have movement like a normal shoulder. Reattach the subscap and then sew me back up. So we are at month about 9 going into month 10. So we're almost at the 1 year mark, and a lot's happened from month 3 to month 9. That's about 6 months worth of experience and updates to share. So I'll give a quick visual real quick on just my range of motion. The last video left off, I kind of gave a flexion and abduction and then external rotation, and then we'll just start to unpack. So seated position here. Here's some flexion. This is, again, the shoulder I had surgery on. And then if I just move this chair real quick, abduction, and then external rotation. Still a work in progress. So we'll do a quick recap here. How am I feeling, doing? We just kind of did a quick range of motion. So currently I'm feeling great. No pain in the shoulder. So for all those who go through a similar shoulder surgery or just in general, I know and I'll kind of wrap this up at the end too. Was it worth it? Absolutely. It was not without challenges, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of that. However, to not live a life in pain anymore is such a gift, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Now, getting here has not been easy in terms of the current range, the headspace, the emotions, the physical part, identity, challenges, all those things. So let's unpack. Day to day, I feel great. I don't have pain. I don't even really feel limited by my shoulder in everyday daily life activities. I can live the life I want with my family and how I kind of go about my day. I do and have had to train differently, and that'll be an important part about in the next, kind of section of things that have helped. So training has obviously looked a little different, and that's totally okay and cool, and that's been a little bit of a shift. But the big thing and the big takeaway is I feel great. I've regained the musculature in the side delt, rear delt, function in terms of strength and capability, and just the self-trust within the actual joint and muscle and everything kind of surrounding it. I have a lot of that back, so I'm extremely grateful. And for everybody who's been a part of helping me get here, from my support system at home to the people around me to all the medical, from my doctor to my physical therapy, all the people who've kind of played a role in kind of supporting, because it takes a lot of people, or in my case it has for sure. Things that have helped me get to this place of feeling exponentially better. And I'm just going to kind of cover some things that I think are baseline for me, normal stuff, but I think are important to highlight. One is just regular sleep. Sleep is repair, recovery, hormones, all the repair processes of the body, the mind, the cells. So consistently 7 to 8+ hours, and that relationship has only gotten better throughout this journey. Nutrition has always been a key staple, making sure that I'm getting ample protein, a lot of nutrients and anti-inflammatory foods through fruits and veggies, limiting anything that is sugary or processed, and just making that my MO, and a lot of hydration with lemon water. Love lemon water. So those are just staples. And a big one too is on top of those, stress management practices and tools. And things that have been helpful for me, a lot of journaling, especially at the tail end of last year, getting out a lot of the stuff that I was feeling, thinking, and experiencing, talking to people I can confide in or work through my emotional experiences, talk to my network, my close people. So, instead of just holding and keeping in what I was feeling, the struggles, all of that. And then a big one recently has been just breath work in different forms. There's nothing, super fixed that I live within. I think just being more dialed in with my nervous system, which is obviously breathing and connecting those two are a big part of that, calming that down, trying to be aware of the stressors of life, and then the stressors that we can create for ourselves. So again, just reconnecting to some basic principles: sleep, nutrition, and breathing. Getting help. So getting help in terms of whether that, for me, that looked like post where I left off, I was in this kind of gray zone. I am a health and fitness coach and professional, and that also came to bite me in the butt in terms of knowing so much and kind of unsure of, I'm taking care of a lot of people and things within my own business, my family, and then I have this massive puzzle piece of myself, my body, the injury, the rehab, the physical part, and just knowing a lot of things. I found myself almost at times becoming obsessive with it, and it was so consuming that I knew I needed to offload that part and find the right people, team, person to support me in that and to guide me through the next stages of that. And I think that's really important, especially if it's not just so A to B. After a couple weeks, I have range, I feel good, and I can slowly integrate strength training. With a major surgery like this, and the range of motion and the challenges and being physical in my job at times, it was important for me, and just the quality of my life, to rehab, repair, rebuild, stay healthy, learn, grow, and do it in a way that was also not going to overly debilitate my mental health at the same time. Because, man, when I get the challenges that I've experienced, it was a lot of mental challenges. So all that to be said, I sought out, who can I get help with in this next stage? So I did 2 cycles of physical therapy with a great physical therapist locally. And I think we took it as far as we could. And then I worked with her husband, who was a trainer in a similar field as I am, who has gone through some courses in terms of pain management and kind of the next tier. And he was great, offered a lot of great information. I think an important thing to share here is being open-minded to, if that particular way doesn't feel sustainable long-term, I have to keep on the search for what is going to align sustainably long-term for me. So then I, again, continued my search. I found a different resource, Dr. Jordan Shallow, and set up a consultation. We went through my medical history, my procedure, and kind of where I was. He built out a program for me, and then we did a follow-up probably about 4 weeks later. We were communicating often, and that stage was great. It was also, challenging. I own a strength and conditioning gym, uh, and I had to get a different gym membership that was a complete opposite direction of where I live to do a lot of the things that Jordan was having me do, which at the time I was fine with. But again, when I did this for about 2 months, it wasn't the way sustainably I wanted to continue on. The relationship we had kind of, had its limits, and it also wasn't the way that I saw myself training or wanting to train long term. While I'm extremely grateful for his time and his knowledge and that chapter, it led me to continuing to seek out who I am currently now working with, Dr. Ryan Summers. Dr. Ryan Summers from Valvo Health, I highly recommend. He's someone who I was familiar working with a previous company that I'm familiar with, Active Life, of helping people get out of pain. So I've worked with them previously. I've done a course with them, and Ryan no longer worked with them. And I sought him out. We did a phone consultation, and then I knew along the steps that this was going to be the right fit for me. We did a phone consultation. He had me fill out this extensive questionnaire that was not just generic about what do you want and putting a program together. It was deep from the physical, the emotional, it was very well thought out, and I can really appreciate that about him. So I've been working with him, I want to say late October, early November to this point now. So about 3 months. We're in the 2 to 3 month stage, and we did a lot of assessments in the first month virtually. This is all virtually, and we would have weekly Zooms. We do have weekly Zooms and chats every Monday to touch on the progress. And he was very intelligent and deliberate with to me, the repair, the rebuilding, the challenging, the volume, the educating, because, I had so many questions, and he's just been tremendous help and not only help in terms of my body, my mind, having me do things I would never do and not do, answering a lot of the unknown questions that I would have or fears I would have that I think, excuse me, it'd be very easy to get locked into and kind of just put yourself in a box post-surgery, unafraid to explore these things. So Dr. Ryan Summers, he's been phenomenal in my experience with him, and I'm still working with him, and I cannot recommend him enough. So getting great people, and I'm very grateful for everybody along the way, because it all served purposes in the journey to kind of get to this point. And he's been great at supporting me and challenging me and helping me, through the next stage, and it's just been great. Challenges that I've experienced along the way. I shared this with Ryan. For a long time, my idea of success, and I would do this in the shower for whatever reason, is I would just try to lift my surgical arm over my head. And if I could get my bicep past my ear, which I never could, I would be like, that's the goal. Like, that is the version of success. Is I've had surgery. Now I can get full range, and that means that I'm not limited by what my body's range of motion can do, and I can slowly build in the things that I want to do and have freedom and capability. And that just was never happening. So I was constantly, internally, always frustrated, upset, disappointed, let down, unsure, and that is and was a hard place to continually live. And it never even, strangely enough, crossed my mind until someone actually challenged me of that being the idea of success. And when I sat with it and explored it and went deeper with it, it was a work in progress to adjust that version of what success meant. And I think that's important, because to me, that version was a very black or white pass fail. And I was missing out on so many things that were improving, that felt better, that, man, you were just in pain for almost 2 years every single day and night. And now you're not, and you're like missing that big piece just because your arm isn't meeting one metric. And you can still do so many things. Um, so readjusting my idea of success. Um, of course, there were major brush ups internally of like personal identity. There were so many years I've identified and connected with my body a certain way. I am a leader of my business and my health and fitness community. And to think of being unable to do aspects of my job or show things, perform things, um, and just how I knew myself was a difficult thing to come to accept. And I think that's just a process. I think it's a process of a lot of self compassion, a lot of, you know, loving the part of yourself who you once were and maybe was in different form. And then the same for the new, evolved, different version of yourself as of now. And everybody, again, I'm sure that's going to be a different process for everybody. Happy to talk more about that if you're going through a major surgery and you're experiencing that as well. Ability, you know, Dr. Ryan for a while, I'll share this. He's got some good thick skin because one thing I can really appreciate about him is I thought I would never press on that arm again, or I made rules in my mind like if I can't do a pull up symmetrically, I'm not going to do it. If I can't press in this most optimal position like this arm, I'm not going to press a dumbbell, whatever, a barbell, things like that. So I had these like strict kind of like internal rules that I created for myself being in this training space for so long and just what I created. And then when he went to challenge me to do those things, it's funny, I would feel the frustration and I would direct it at him initially, which is really just being upset with myself and my story and my rules. And he was so great at meeting me where I was at and also educating me that there is still good in doing a press, even though I can't get to the most optimal position like this arm. And I will fully, you know, share here quickly too, without going into too much context. I remember starting that journey pressing with him. And at the time, I think November, December. So this is possibly what, 6-7 months post surgery. I can, with my surgical arm, barely press 25 to 35 pounds for like 4 to 5 reps. Without pain, of course, just strength wise. That's the you know, the difference in strength loss from the surgery, where this arm before surgery, before pain, could strict press a 70-pound, you know, dumbbell for 5 maybe, as a max, you know, so to say, for context. Like, whew, wow. And I'm happy to kind of just share again, doing that work steadily. I the other day I just did 50 reps on this arm for 4 in terms of just the gradual progress. Not that that's a big goal of mine. My vision and goals have shifted. So it's just perspective to share of like the uniqueness, and having someone in your corner to kind of educate, guide you, challenge you is extremely important. I wrote down some quick questions that I would get or have gotten that I wanted to kind of address. Let's see. What has been the most surprising aspect of your recovery journey? I think two-part. One is the time, you know, the length of time to restore range of motion uh, and rebuild is short and long. Like that, I think is surprising in itself. Where pain, better, great, um, you know, progressed quickly. And then there's still things that I think took a lot longer that surprised me. And then the second is the amount of opportunity to grow mentally that's available should one choose to do that work. Um, I think is a big component. How did you manage pain and discomfort during the early stages of recovery? Like I said, I think I didn't very I did not rely on the drugs or whatever they give you. I stuck to my guns of sleeping uh, 7 to 8 hours, getting quality nutrition. Um, and I am fortunate and grateful that I had the time to slowly recover and to take the time to do that. What role did your support system play in your healing process? The biggest role, from my significant other, who is just a rock and such a support system, to my teammates who are like the backbone and just such a from the emotional part to supporting the business while I had to step away to recover, to people close to me who helped me process what I was going through, and just checked in. I can look back now and just see it as a lot of acts of love. Have there been any setbacks, and how did you overcome them? I didn't have nothing. I didn't have anything crazy that was a major setback. There were times where I would experience some mild, say, discomfort in my stages with Ryan, where, and this is where he was so great, if those symptoms were, say, 48 hours or less, not a super big deal. Like, it was something we would monitor in terms of volume or movement, but it was nothing that was like 10 steps backwards. I had an early incident post surgery. This is probably within, I don't know, 8 to 10 weeks. And this is almost comical to say on this, is like I was mowing the lawn, which was a cedar mower, and I got it stuck where we live because it's like a slight hill, so I'm kind of riding sideways. And stubborn male thinks he can, pull this thing out. I looped like 2 dog leashes around the back and put it on my waist like I was gonna sled pull, and I'm still like not putting weight. I'm still folded like this. I don't have a sling on, and I'm just dragging this thing out, and I slip. My shoes slip on the grass, and I fall right on my shoulder that I just had surgery on, and blessed by something higher and more powerful, nothing serious. It scared me like, oh boy, like, man, how silly you could be that you just did this thing and almost put yourself back in a hole. How has your perspective on health and fitness changed since the surgery? That's a great question. A lot. As a health and fitness coach and professional, there was no one thing that led to my particular arthritis and situation. It's an accumulation of things. Sometimes that's the way the cards fall, and that's okay. I do believe that, and especially working with folks 35 to 70 and doing this for 13 plus years, I do believe a lot of people, from lifestyle choices and just, again, the way their cards fall, we all have a thing, or most of us have a thing. For me, it's my shoulder. For you, it might be your back. For someone else, it might be their knee, or multiple things. So the perspective on health and fitness, especially coaching and training people, is removing the things that I think carry less overall value and have, say, higher risk, and finding the appropriate minimum effective dose that we can get stronger, de-stress, exert some energy, feel accomplished and proud of ourselves, and do it also in a way that is fun and enjoyable, and I want to come back and do it again tomorrow. So I'm thinking more about it holistically and sustainably. So if anyone from my business is watching this, I view my experience completely from the perspective of an opportunity. Like I'm going through this and have gone through this also as a big part to extract the lessons and the opportunities that I can then help so many other people lead and live healthier, sustainable, more active lifestyles. And that's just a mission and a passion of mine for sure. So training smarter for sure. Were there any resources, books that you found most helpful during your recovery? I mean, I'm a student of learning everything in the physical, in the health and fitness space. I read a lot of Dan John stuff. That's more training and like simplistic way of training. I did a lot of internal work from Ron and Mary Holnick's work of, more of internal work. Steve Hardison's Who Are You Being? Like deeper work. Those were all really helpful for me in my recovery process. And again, to circle back as kind of end this video at the 9-month checkup, was it worth it? I have folks message and comment like being afraid because they're going to have shoulder surgery. And I felt those same things too. All the emotions and concerns and fears going in are absolutely valid, and they're real, Of course it was worth it. If I could encourage those who maybe go through a surgery, one, the acceptance that the path ahead is not going to be easy. However, I have the mental and physical fortitude to commit to the things necessary to help me feel better. If I can encourage you to capture all wins, big and small, daily, weekly, challenge your measurement of success. Maybe it's not getting back to XYZ or this or that or whatever, but maybe it's enjoying a higher quality life and playing with your kids or grandkids, or living a pain-free life, like adjusting your perspective and then getting more minute in that. Get the help you need. Like I said, Dr. Ryan Summers, you can find him. Fantastic support through my journey, through my training, my recovery, my rehabilitation. I can't say enough good things. And to commit to the lifestyle factors that are going to support you. Sleep, getting enough quality sleep. That's where all the repair and foundation of recovery begins. Consciously choosing and committing to healthy, what best choices can I make at each individual time you go to the meal? It's not all or nothing. It is each time to the drawing board and building sustainable, healthy habits there that are going to support your mind, your body, your recovery, your health, your future, your composition, inside, outside, all of it. And then, find and create sustainable ways of moving and movement and training that you enjoy and are in alignment with your vision and your values for yourself. My friends, I will check back in at the 1 year mark, so another 3 months from now, and we'll give another update 1 year post-surgery. You got any questions? By all means, drop them. I will absolutely respond, and we'll talk soon.